I'm Allie Riley, and you're watching 110 Football.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another Angels Wear Boots. I'm Amanda Filimon. Megan Reyes was at yet another wedding this weekend, and if you watched last week's episode, well, you'll understand why we all hope that she didn't have to be helped out of the reception in a wheelchair yet again. But Megan's not here to defend herself, so let's get to why you're all here to talk Angel City. And here to help is, of course, three amazing co-hosts. We're going to start off with the Titan of tactics herself, Jessica Black. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Of course, I'm excited to be here. No game to talk about, but we're going to go through like mid-season grades and things like that, so it's going to be a really fun show. And thank you for the title. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, well, you definitely are. And also joining us today is, she's finally gracing us with her presence. It's been way too long. We have Sesselmann in the house.
What's up, everybody? I'm wearing my Canadian tuxedo today. Reppin' Canada. U.S. plays Canada tonight, so let's go, girls.
Love it, love it. And of course, our last host, but definitely not least, is Angel City's own fashionista herself, who puts everybody else's shoe game to shame. It's the amazing Sarah Gorden. Welcome.
Hey guys, and I have my favorite sneakers on today, so I know we're going to be talking about style in a little bit.
Drip, drip.
Love it, love it. Happy to be here today to talk about what we're going to talk about today, which is not a game, but.
Yeah, and make sure you comment and leave questions in the chat because we are so excited to answer them, so leave those there.
Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, this channel is nothing without you guys. It costs absolutely nothing to subscribe to the channel, so make sure you guys just click that button, and yeah, so you never miss another show.
Ring that bell. And also, the world has been waiting for the Sesselmann shirts. And they are here. I know you're all excited. You guys can get it at breakingtea.com. Hashtag Sesselmann in the house.
I'm a little upset that I don't get to wear one on this show and just help support what you've got going on. But I love them. They're amazing, and they will no doubt sell out, I'm sure. They're
Thank you.
Fantastic. All right, well, let's get into it. Unfortunately, COVID postponed Angel City's match against North Carolina Courage to September 14th, so we don't have any immediate soccer to talk about. Therefore, that is the subject of this week's hashtag trending. All right, guys, what are your thoughts on this whole situation? I know it would have been really, really nice to have this game. I think you mentioned some really good momentum going into that. How do you think that affects us going forward at this point, having to take this game and move it to the middle of September?
I mean, we were talking about it earlier. You showed me the schedule. We're going to have a very compact schedule going into September. And so, you know, I do think with the team playing so well in the last game and us getting that win that was so exciting at home, it does feel like it's a little bit of a loss of momentum there. And then now we're going to be going into that busy schedule and teams will have their players back. And so it does kind of seem like an opportunity lost, but ultimately, like, every single team I do think is going to be dealing with somewhat of a busy schedule. So we'll just have to see how the chips fall. But I do think that I would have preferred to have been able to play the game when it was originally scheduled.
Yeah, I think another thing that we kind of talked about was the fact that North Carolina Courage game would have been the one where Tyler Lucy would have had her red card, obviously, and so she wouldn't have been playing. And now that's going to be pushed to the OL Reign game. Do you guys have any thoughts on how you would have rather have seen that played out? Do you prefer that they would have gotten it against that? I know her and Rapinoe matched up really well whenever they played, and we're not going to get to see that, unfortunately.
Well, I think that it's, at least at that point, we will have our international players back. So we will have Vanessa back, so we can have someone slot into outside back and Vanessa back centrally. So I think it actually will work out okay. Whereas if it were the North Carolina game, you know, obviously with the FIFA break and everything going on, it would have been a little bit more difficult to replace her. But honestly, like I feel like I say this every show, this team has been through so much adversity with injuries, with COVID, with international players at camps. So I think it's a good way to end going into the midway break, just because they're coming off such an important win against San Diego. That's the rival. That was one of the big goals of the season. So I think, you know, they ended on a high note, and that's a good way to go into break.
Yeah, and Gerardo actually took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, you said Jess talked about the momentum, but also this is extra time, you know, COVID, injuries, all that. So a little bit of extra time just to kind of recuperate, get ready for this tough schedule that they have coming up, and to finish the rest of the season strong.
Yeah, I mean, those are all great points. I think we are going to have, I think it was something like 5 games in a week. It's going to be crazy, or like 10 days. But you're right, we're going to have people back. We're going to have people that can kind of sub in and sub out and actually fill those positions. So if they are getting fatigued and there is a lot on their legs, then hopefully we're going to be able to take that and sub them out, because we do feel like we're getting a little deeper on our roster, I think, compared to how we were at the beginning of the season. But I guess all in all, it's just how you kind of look at it. I mean, it's great that they get to rest. Again, the momentum would have been nice to have going into it, because I think they were probably riding a pretty big wave of, you know, of feeling great about it. So I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how that's going to all play out.
The other thing that you were talking about in terms of like depth, one of the best things that's happened since the international break is seeing players that we hadn't really seen before kind of jump in. And so, like you said, the team does feel a little bit deeper. So going into this busy schedule in September, we will be able to sub, like you said. So I am kind of excited about that, to see when Freya Kuhn maybe feels like she has more players to work with. How does she rotate? You know, how does she make sure that she keeps people fresh? How does she make sure that she rests certain players and also gets them the opportunity to, you know, maybe show their stuff? So I do think that we're in a good position, a healthier position going into a busy schedule where we weren't there before. So, you know, I think we'll be fine. I think ultimately when you look at the schedule, sometimes because it's so compact, you're like, how is this going to work out? These girls are fit.
Yeah.
You know, they're ready to go. They're professional athletes. They'll get through it.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, we have new players coming in, and so I think it's just a chance for them to keep building that team chemistry, like in practice, and then come out, you know, with a bang. This, you know, August is going to be a very competitive month, playing against some great teams, and it's just going to be exciting. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I agree with all that, although I do have to shout out Chris Lafferty, and your word on the street is the last game was postponed to avoid Nina's grading, not because of COVID. Come on now. She's not even here to defend herself.
Nina, what you got?
We love you, Nina. We miss you. And we miss you, Megan, also in the chat. So.
Okay, guys, we are halfway through the season, as we said, but let's talk about what stuck out to us up to this point. Amanda, let's start with you.
You know, I think one of the things that stuck out to me the most is just how ready LA was for a women's team. They have shown up and shown out to every game so far this season, selling out the stadium and just really coming through and saying, you know, this is something we wanted, and they're proving that it's exactly the direction that we needed to go when it came to women's soccer. And I love seeing those numbers. I mean, 22,000 fans showing up for a women's game. I mean, they certainly are ready. And if you live in LA and you know how LA sports work, you know it is very hard to be a team in LA, because fandom, you know, you lose a couple games, they may just take their, pack up their suitcase and move on somewhere else. But no, they've stuck in there from the beginning. Our fans and our supporters are amazing. And again, they've shown that this is exactly what was supposed to happen. And I'm so happy to see those stands full.
Yeah, just piggybacking off of what you were just saying, I think the one thing that stood out to me is that being an expansion team is really, really hard. I think when I originally looked at the roster and I saw the names on there, you know, Kristen Press, Tyler Lucy, Sarah Gorden, you know, I'm thinking this team is going to be insane. They're going to get out there 2 weeks or so, and they're just going to click together, and we're just going to be top of the table. And it hasn't really worked out that way. And it's not because there's, you know, a lack of quality. It's just the team has been through so much: COVID, injuries, not having a deep squad. And then when you look at the rest of the teams out there, you see like teams like the Washington Spirit that have been together for a while, OL Reign, been together for a while. We don't really have that. Like, we haven't really gotten that gel together. And also Freya Kuhn, new coach, new team, all that kind of stuff. So I do think my expectations were a little bit lofty for an expansion team, and after learning a little bit more about what it takes to be an expansion team, my expectations were definitely brought down. But I do think that with those new expectations, I can say that Angel City are maybe exceeding even those because, I mean, look where we're sitting in the table. We've won quite a bit of games. We've been a really tough opponent to beat, and they've come through so much adversity and done really well for themselves. So for me, it's difficult to be an expansion team. My expectations are definitely adjusted, but ultimately I'm really proud of this team and I'm excited to see where they go in the future.
Yeah, and just going off of that, I've been a part of 2 expansion teams, and it isn't easy. And you have to remember that a lot of these players didn't get a lot of minutes from their other teams. So it's just all finding the right pieces to the puzzle that fit. And so I'm going to spin it a little bit and just talk about the versatility. You have so many players coming in and stepping up and playing positions and out of positions that they've never played before. You know, you have Lucy, you have Jasmine, you know, playing outside back, and Sarah can attest to this, is not an easy position to play, and having players just step in. I mean, you even see some of the games where you had Danny, you had June, you said the whole team is basically coming to the back line there, and I think that's pretty impressive. I mean, just a testament to this team that like they're coachable, they're versatile, and someone said in the group chat, the tenacity of this team is what really sticks out to me. I mean, they never give up until the final whistle, and to me, that is a team I'm always going to cheer for.
Yeah, what sticks out to me, and I'm not just saying this because I'm injured, but it's things change really fast. Like you said, Jess, going into the year, I think Freya and all of us kind of had a different idea of the way we would be playing, the formation, who would be playing, but things have changed. And I think the team has done an incredible job of just staying steadfast on the right path. Obviously, there's good games, there's bad games, but like keeping the same tone and sticking together is really important. And Amanda, like you said, having 22,000 fans almost at every game, you know, 18,000 and 20,000 between there, it changes the game. And that has been the most amazing part for me to see, for sure.
So, yeah, they've definitely been our 12th man out there on the field. That has probably helped get them through some rough times. And yeah, I'm so excited for them. And again, just halfway through the season. I mean, can you believe it? And I think we have some really good things in the pipeline with this team. But before we really go to school on Angel City with our midseason grades, let's take a look at another episode of Class of 22. This week, we posed a question this panel knows a lot about. It's fashion. So, Angel City players, which teammate has the best style?
I said this before, Stephanie. Yeah, I like her vibes.
I'm gonna say Allison Swaby. Every day she rocks up in a cute outfit. It's not even just game day, it's like every day.
Probably Allison or Simone.
Sarah Gorden.
Sarah.
Sarah.
I guess probably Sarah Gorden again.
I don't know.
Simone Charlie.
So Simone Charlie came to a red carpet event in a gorgeous green dress that she got from Amazon. And if she can pull that off, I have to give her the prize for the best style.
Who am I? I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. Is it me? Is it me? Maybe.
she knows it's her.
I mean, come on. The shoe drip is my favorite thing about you. Well, there's other things.
I love you was thirsty for some
Did you think you were going to get more votes, or?
No, you know, it's a new group of people. You never know what to expect, but I was thirsty for the votes.
Look at that.
Okay, you see these?
Always bringing the drip. I love it. Although I do need to say, don't clown on Amazon fashion. I have a lot of things from Amazon, from shoes to swimsuits, and everything is great, and it gets there in like a day. So I have no problem with that. But yes, I would definitely vote you the most fashionable of everybody.
Thank you. I feel like you have to say that
The
because I'm
question
sitting
is,
here.
No.
Who's the most fashionable on Angels wear boots?
Oh, girl, you got the Canadian tuxedo going. You might get the W today.
You know,
okay?
I have been
think it's
stepping
Lauren.
it up, you know, so I'm going into the final half of the season on fire.
The collar. Oh my gosh. Well, all right. Well, thank you everyone for. Oh, is it time to go?
Wait, we
No,
can't
what
go
are we
before.
doing? We're going to Sarah.
Guys, halfway through the year means midterms, time for some grades. Obviously, I cannot grade my teammates. That would be so just wrong of me to do. So let's grade by position, starting with the goalkeepers, all 3 goalkeepers. Let's see who we have here, and you guys give them a grade, and we'll see what we got. So we have Maya, Brittany, and Dee Dee. Obviously, we're really grading Dee Dee because she's been in goal every single game. Yeah, let's see what you guys got for her. Okay? Are you ready?
Ah.
3, 2, 1. See, we got.
Oh, I put the wrong.
Oh my gosh.
We have an A- from Amanda.
You guys,
Jess has
I
an
messed
A
up.
and a 97.
And you got it
Not
incomplete. You
8.75.
got it incomplete.
So,
I wasn't very good at school. Just kidding, I was.
okay, so
Okay.
all A's. All A's. What went into your grade then?
Oh, I mean, what can you say, Dee Dee? I mean, obviously she's like the backbone of this team. She's been absolutely incredible. Some of those saves, I don't know how people are like our goalkeepers. I give a lot of credit to goalkeepers, but she's been incredible back there. She's such a leader, you can tell on the field, and yeah, she definitely gets an A in my book. She's really held down this back line. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think earlier on in like the Challenge Cup, there was, some not questions around her, but the defense was getting peppered. Let's keep it real. So she was conceding a lot of goals, and I think that was something that she was probably a little bit worried about. And then going into the regular season, you've just seen her kind of blossom, and she's so reliable back there. She makes a lot of really good saves, not like just camera saves, but like just really, really solid saves. I feel really confident with her back there. And her distribution is also pretty good as well. And she just seems like a really calm, cool, collected character back there. So for me, I have nothing to complain about. She's the undisputed #1 goalkeeper, and I don't think anybody can say anything different.
No, I mean, anytime you make the top 10 highlights on ESPN for one of your saves, I think it's hard to give you anything other than an A grade, or at least in that tier. And yeah, I think she's been such a pillar for this team. She's really held them together. And I think I've said this from the beginning, she's got that position on lock. I really do. I think so. So I know we have some goalkeepers coming in possibly at the latter part of the season, and I think she's definitely giving them for a run of their money. And yes, she is amazing back there. I had an A- just because, we can all improve a little bit. No one's perfect, so A-.
I agree. She gets an A. I will say that easily. And something I love, and we've talked about it before, is her growth mentally and just leading the team from the back. Just seeing the way that she's grown is tremendous. So A from me as well.
And Sarah, because being a center back, you need to have somebody behind you constantly just leading you and guiding you, and just being in your ear, telling you what to do, where to shift, where to go, what to do. And so that is why she gets an A, most definitely, and she's just been so consistent. So
and people don't understand, like at the beginning when we were letting in a lot of goals, that affects someone mentally.
Yeah.
But you have to be a leader, you have to be loud, you have to talk to your team from the goalkeeper position. So to be able to really continue to grow into that has been great to see.
yeah.
Okay, but we are moving on to defenders.
Okay.
Okay.
I won't give them this
we have Madison, Vanessa, Paige, Allison, Allie, and Megan Reed. And honorable mention Jazzy, but she's not there right now. I say she's there. But all right, guys. What are you guys giving the defenders? 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's see. We got B's all around.
Look how pretty my B is.
Lauren, we'll start with you. Why a B?
I think the defense always gets a bad rap. It's hard being a defender, right? Everything is blamed on you. All the mistakes, anything that happens, it gets blamed on you. This team is versatile. They've been doing a really great job. I mean, there's been a lot of moving parts in that back line, and it's very, very difficult, as you guys know, like as defenders, when you have all these different players coming in and out, it's hard to get that consistency and that gel. So, I mean, you've had a lot of forwards coming back and playing outside back. As I said, it's hard to play with people who haven't been in that position before. Obviously, they've done a tremendous job. So I will give a B because, they still need a little bit of time. And, we are missing some pieces to my left here. But the back line that has been in and out, all the different players that have been coming in and out, I'm very impressed. I know there's great leadership out there. So great work, ladies.
Yeah, with so much chopping and changing, like you would think that the defense would have suffered in terms of like the goals that they've been giving up. Kind of like I was saying with Dee Dee in the Challenge Cup, it was challenging. They really struggled. And then moving into the season, things became a lot more solid. Gilles, to me, was always kind of like one of the best players on the team. Listening to Megan Reed's story and then her coming to Angel City and then becoming like that partner with Gilles, I think it's perfect. But even when other players have stepped in, Hammond has stepped in there as well. There's been several different players that have played those positions, but I've never really felt like we just fell apart. I do feel like there's always kind of been that solidity. And then when you have players that are playing, in fullback positions that haven't played there before, it's actually crazy how good we've been defensively considering all of those things. So I would say a solid B. You know, obviously it could get better. I do think there's times where we play against maybe some of the more trickier forwards where we just kind of don't have that solidity, but ultimately, like, for such a new team and all the changes, I couldn't ask for more.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, numbers don't lie. If you look at the table and you look at our goals allowed, I think it's at 11 right now, and that's actually the third best on the table, meaning we've given up the third least amount of goals, and it's still pretty close with the top of the table. So that's a testament to both our defenders and our goalie, of course. And I think we've come a long way from the Challenge Cup in the beginning when we were having a lot of problems clearing the ball and getting it out of the box. And we've really done a lot of good things since then. Like you've all mentioned time and time again, is just the versatility of this group being able to step into roles that they may not normally do. Someone like Tyler Lucy coming into that defensive position that, you know, she wasn't used to it, but you know, it did make a big difference. And we really, I think I was looking at it, and besides the Portland game, all the games have really, we've only given up one goal to our, as far as from a defensive standpoint. One of them was, we gave up 2 goals, but that was because of a PK. So I don't put that on the defense. But every other game from that, we only gave up 1 goal, and that's really huge. I think when we get into our other assessments, we'll find out what maybe the missing piece kind of was and why we are where we are. But our defense definitely has stepped up and has done some really great things, and I'm excited to see what we do with all of our pieces in there, you being one of them as well.
Well, I agree with you guys. It's crazy. Obviously, we keep talking about the adversity the team has been through, but the back line has really taken a lot of shots, and that's like the core group that you need. You don't sub them that much. You really want them to get to know each other. You need to be organized, and I really applaud, you know, all the different defenders that have come in and stepped up. And it's not always the most organized or pretty, but they typically find a way to try and keep the ball at the net, which is great. But yeah, it's time to move on to the midfielders. The midfielders: Hope, Carrie, Danny, Sav, Katie, Steph, Clarice, Lily, and Miri Taylor. And what kind of grades do we have for the midfielders? You're still writing. Ready? Oh no. Okay, let's see. We got B minus.
Oh, I
B minus,
didn't cheat. I
and
promise.
B. Amanda, let's start with you. B minus. What's up with that?
You know, I think our midfield has been really good. I do, absolutely. I think they've come a long way. We've had a lot of people circulate out through that position, and they have really been the glue to kind of hold that team together in the middle, especially with a defense that's figuring themselves out and a forward position that hasn't quite figured themselves out, or at least is in the process of doing so. But I think they've done a lot of great things. I mean, I think Clarice has done amazing. I love watching Danny. She's so good on the ball and is always aware of what's going on and where to be. The fact that our leading goal scorer is a midfielder, and Savannah McCaskill, I mean, they're doing some great things in the midfield, and I think if there were a little more cohesiveness with, you know, the forwards and the defenders, this team would be, I mean, unstoppable. But they're still figuring things out. But I've seen some really brilliant things happen in the midfield, and I think it's only getting better. And again, there's a lot of people that can step into those positions. So there's a lot of decisions to be made by Freya on who's going to step in there and fill those slots, because we have a lot of people stepping up, and they're all doing some pretty great things, I think. But there's definitely room for improvement, and that's why it's a B minus. Always can improve, of course. You felt the same way, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for the most part, Recaro and Weatherholt have been operating kind of like within their capacity. I do think that they're 2 players where they're quite different, but they do gel really well together. And when they did play together, we were stronger in midfield, especially defensively. Defensively sitting in front of the back line, that's where they really shone. I do think where maybe they lack, and maybe this is just coming from, maybe they don't have, this is not a part of their job in the system that they're playing, but we really lack usually third man running, but third woman running into the box. There's no really goals coming from midfield. There's not that ingenuity, creativity that we maybe need. There's no box-to-boxness. It's very it's kind of a little bit rigid in the way that we play. And I think organization is great, but you need fluidity throughout your midfield. McCaskill has played the number 10 role and has done well, but it just always kind of seems like there might be a piece missing. So that's not necessarily maybe their problem. Maybe we're missing a certain person, but ultimately I do think that there is a level for those players to go up. And so a B- felt the most natural for me to put, because obviously it's your engine room, it's the most important thing. And I do think where we've been strong right in front of our defense, when we get to the edge of the opposition's box, we're not quite as dangerous as we probably should be. So that's where the B- comes.
I mean, I don't really have much to add because what you guys said is pretty much how I feel. The creativity, you know, there is, what I love about them is they're always hustling, but I need to see more creativity. But you are starting to see them, you know, interchange more on the wings and stuff like McCaskill. She's really getting in there a little bit more. I'd like to see even more. As we said, we talked about this a lot, like getting in, you know, in behind or a little bit more interchanging with the forwards. But they've been more on the more defensive side, you know, Recaro and Weatherholt. I mean, like, they're workhorses. Endo, they're workhorses, right? So, and I don't know if maybe it's just the system we're playing or if we need to change that. But for me, you know, I gave them a B, but everyone's agreeing with you guys with the B-. But that's just how I feel. I was like, but I love the work ethic of them, but we are lacking that little bit of that creativity for me, and that's just why I give them a B.
I mean, if McCaskill's not there, I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna get the ball to the attackers, and that's just something that they have to work out. If you're gonna have a workhorse type midfield, then they need to be able to get it to the forwards quicker. You know, it's not always about dribbling through everybody, but I just feel like there's just a lack of something there that could be brought out by an additional player coming in, or the players have to change their roles.
But against your point, McCaskill was not there last game. She was out with an injury, and they still found a way to get it done and win the game. But we're moving on to our last line, which is attackers, forwards. Y'all, what are your ratings for our forwards? We have Simone, we have Kristen Press, we have June, Jazz, kind of. We have Sid, Tyler, and Claire. And I see She Knows Football in the chat. He said 5-4-2, or sorry, it might be a she or he said 5-4-2 with a -1 goal difference. We just need more goals. So with that being said, what are our ratings for our attackers?
Oh, I'm so bad at grades.
Lauren with the B-. Ooh, a C and a C.
Why are we?
Jess,
I know, I'm not cheating, I promise.
Yeah.
Why the C and the needs improvement? That's like when a teacher writes like at the bottom.
Yeah, because I just feel like, okay, let's not talk around it. We don't score enough goals, like, period. And I do think it has there's a little bit of a disconnect between the midfield and the attack, so it's not all them. But when we've been in opportunities in the box to put the ball in the back of the net, we just haven't done it. And so there's been plenty of games where we probably could have gotten 2, maybe 3 goals, and we just haven't gotten it. And so beyond the game against Louisville, where I thought attacking-wise we were pretty good, in the game against San Diego, our most recent game, I do think we've been kind of like a 1-goal type of team. Right. So, you know, if they scored a goal, we weren't getting the 3 points. And that's just a dangerous way to live. And I look at some of the attackers that we have, June, McCaskill, Kristen Press when she was playing, now Sydney Leroux. We should be doing better. You know, I just think that there's just enough quality there to get the more goals in the back of the net. So it's something that definitely needs to be improved upon. When you see some of the better teams in the league, they're getting 3 goals, you know, they're putting their chances away. We need to do the same thing. So with the quality that we have, like, I wouldn't be giving them a C if I didn't think they could do better.
But at least they recognized and they were making improvements, bringing in LaRue, bringing in Claire. So I think we're on the right path. And just as we keep saying, making sure they keep gelling and working together, and then having, you know, the 10 coming in, being a little bit more creative up there. And it's going to come. I think we're going to be very surprised this final half of the season, and it's going to be good. Got a lot of faith.
Yeah, I mean, I gave a C for all the reasons that you both said. And again, specifically going back to the numbers, we have 10 goals for, meaning that's how many we've scored. We've only scored 10. And if you look at the table, that's at the very bottom. That's number, I think, 3rd from the bottom on how many goals we've scored. So there's definitely, some work that needs to be done when it comes to that. We should be scoring more. But like you've said, we've brought in some new players. We've kind of shifted, and we're going to get some back. And I think that if we do this again at the end of the season, I think our grades will definitely improve.
I still think we're missing that hold-up player up top, like really needs to hold the ball up. You know, I really like Sid more on the wing. I think that's where she shines. I mean, I know we brought her in for the 9, but I think we're missing that force in the air up top.
But I love the Sid signing because I do
Yeah.
think she brings something a little bit different than the rest of the attackers. She is one of the grittiest attackers that I've seen in the league or played against in the league. So it's great to have her on our side, I think. And I'm excited to see more of what Claire will do. I think, we just brought a new player, so we really have to see.
Sydney Leroux fits this team so well because something that everybody's kind of been saying in the chat is we are a really gritty team. Angel City is, to me, one of the more difficult teams to play against. And when you look at the goal differential, what you can see is that we're defensively as a unit, we are difficult to play against. Now, if you can find players up top that can kind of have that same grittiness about them, I think it just works. I thought Sydney Leroux looked sharp, in her first start. It wasn't, she didn't get a goal, but she was up there causing havoc. So hopefully her and Emsley can really add that finishing touch. It'll be interesting to see what front line Freya Kuhn goes with in the next game. She's going to have more players available, and I want to see if she's going to kind of get away from playing the fullbacks or playing forwards in the fullback position and start pushing them forward. Because if you're going to want more goals, you're probably going to need more attackers involved. I would love to see Tyler Lucy up top. I just want to see our attackers in the attacking positions.
Yeah, it's not a bad problem to have, to wonder which forward you're going to put up top. And yeah, I do. I liked what I saw with Leroux. I thought she was really dynamic on the ball. She was very fast out on the wing, and I'm excited. Like I said, I think they are in the right direction. I've said this with our puzzle pieces. I think they're finally out there on the table. It's just a matter of figuring out where they go to kind of complete this picture. And I think we're getting there. And I think everybody's assessment has been spot on. I think we know where our strengths are, and I think we know where our weaknesses are. And again, goals win games. So let's, I hope we can see a few more of those in our future.
And defense wins championships.
There you go.
Defense never gets the love. Come on. All right, we're going into our chat. Do we have any questions that we maybe missed at all in here? I don't think so.
Guys, if you go ahead and send in your questions now, we're going to get into the question section. But I do have a question just to kind of start us off. When everybody's fit, who is our front three?
Like everyone? Like we have Press back?
Yeah.
Oh.
Who do you guys think?
I'm going to say Press. Is one of them.
Press, Leroux.
Yep.
Who's the third then? Or actually, who's your front four? Because that would add that additional, who's the number 10 for you?
Do we have a 10?
And what's the formation? I mean, this is why I do feel like going into next season is going to be really interesting. If we can keep Press and have Leroux, then you start to see we're cooking. Like we're looking like a completely different question to the opposition. But, I'm looking probably at like Kristen Press, Sydney Leroux in June, and McCaskill. Like that would be our strongest. But then you have Lucy and you have Simone Charlie. We start to really build that. Yeah.
And you got Taylor too. I feel like we never really talk about her too much, but I actually I think she works so hard. I would like to see more of her. I want to see more of her.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about the front three we think is going to be healthiest, yes, I agree. So.
We have a lot of them that when they're healthy, I think we would be a very, very threatening force up top. And again, I'm just ready for this to all start clicking for them because it's going to be a fun team to watch when that does start happening.
Oh, Nina asked a really good question. This would be interesting to hear what Lauren has to say. Score predictions for tonight's U.S. versus Canada game.
Lauren.
Let's just take it back to the Olympics. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, I think this is kind of a little bit of my topic, later on here, my stoppage time. But I mean, Canada, hello. I always got to rock the maple leaf.
That's not a score.
Oh, score prediction. Well, I just said they're going to win. I don't know the question.
Oh, my goodness.
2-1.
2-1.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I like it.
What about you guys?
I'm gonna go with I'm actually, strangely, this is gonna sound bad, but I'm actually gonna agree with Lauren. I think that Canada are a lot better than people give them credit for. And I think this is going to be the first true test for the U.S., this new kind of group. And we'll see how they handle it. But I think Canada is super underrated for some reason. It makes no sense because they have so many good players in the team. I'm going to go with a Canada win, actually.
Can we hear that one more time?
I'm going to Canada win.
Okay.
I like Brian's question, actually. Let's move on with 5 games in 14 days. Late in September, who from the bench do you think is going to step up the most? because we're going to have to probably definitely change up our lineups a little to give some rest to those that are going to be putting in a lot of work. Who do you think is going to come off the bench and step up the most?
Question.
I mean, it's, I don't know, because I don't know who's going to be on the bench
Yeah.
when we start.
Yeah, we don't know.
It's such a question.
I think it'll be a really good time, though, for the rookies to either start a game or come into a game and really be game changers. And that's really like the part of the season where rookies get a lot of minutes and experience and get called upon. So that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think Lily.
I like Lily.
Yeah.
Lily, hey. I don't know. I just like her a lot. But defensively, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know Jills will be back, right? Correct. So I don't know what that lineup's gonna look like. Paige has been stepping up to the plate and playing well. Reed has been what is it? Sorry for all these. Oh, Ryan, you're good. We love the difficult questions. But yeah,
Paige has been probably for me the standout player that wasn't like initially starting, like we were talking about off air. Like she kind of struggled against Jess McDonald to get in the Louisville game, and then as the games kind of wore on, she started to look better and better and better. And so for me, she's somebody who could really kind of like maybe push for one of those fullback positions or a center back position, and she could probably unlock us being able to take some of our forwards out of that back line and push them forward. I'm like desperate for that, you guys. Like I just need to see.
And she's also a natural center back, but she is also getting pulled to the outside back. But yeah, I think she's definitely going to be an impact player.
I'm excited to see Hammond too. I really like Hammond. I really liked what I saw in the Challenge Cup whenever she played. So anytime she gets in the game, it's kind of fun to watch. So I think we could see her a little more in rotation when it comes to helping out during that long stretch of games as well.
So let's take Carlos's question. Greatest positive impact ACFC delivers to women's soccer worldwide.
Oh, I mean, they've done
Carlos,
a lot.
good question.
Yeah, I know, right? It's getting hot in here. I think they've done a lot of great things. I think even outside of the pitch, just kind of their philanthropy and what they're doing from a standpoint of just getting involved with so many organizations to really put women front and center, a lot of the women-owned businesses that they're backing. And I think they've just done a great job, like within the community, becoming involved and just making everybody that's part of ACFC just really feel like one big family. And it's a testament to just how many people show up, as I said in the beginning, to all these games. They want to be a part of this family because they're clearly doing something right and they're just so involved in so many things. And I think a lot of organizations are probably looking at that, other teams, and probably taking notes, current ones and maybe future franchises as well.
A lot of them need a lot of help and a lot of work. So it's pretty great to see what ACFC has done. They make it such a family, all the investors and everybody being out there, getting all the celebrities, everybody coming out to games and supporting is really special. I mean, I've been on a few teams, and this is by far, I mean, I'm not on this team, but by far
Might as well
the best team.
You're not?
Yeah, camaraderie and family-esque atmosphere, environments that no wonder why so many players want to come play here. So
I agree with you. I mean, obviously, being from Chicago, you've played for a bunch of different teams in the league. It's just night and day with everything from what goes on inside the organization to being at games to being treated like professionals. And I think that it just inspires others to do the same for their female athletes.
exactly.
Yeah, definitely all the women up front and center. Like that's just the big thing for me. Like just seeing all the women investors and owners come out and be on the field and be just so involved. Like Glennon Doyle and Jennifer Garner being really like hands-on and just seeing the visibility and which is something I've never really seen before.
Yeah.
So I just think it's important from the girls that are actually out there on the pitch being, like you said, treated like professionals to the people that are owning it being visible figures, women figures out there to show you that no matter how you want to be involved in sports, there's a place for you there. So yeah.
Those orange slices at halftime.
Right?
I was feeling that.
I love that.
I was like, yeah.
That was pretty
Give me
amazing.
that energy all the time.
Yes.
I like that.
Well, they're definitely doing something right there. But thank you, everyone, for your questions. We have to get to stoppage time. So, Lauren,
Oh,
you're
I'm
gonna
up
be up
first.
You are.
All right, my stoppage time. You know, I'm obviously Canada all the way through, but U.S. needs to get it together. They need to get it together. So let's just talk about how the rest of the world is catching up. The rest of the countries. I mean, we're watching the Euros right now. Euros have been spectacular. I have been like glued to the TV watching all of these games. You know, England, Germany. You have France. Who am I missing? There's been so. Who am I missing? I'm missing.
You said Spain?
Oh, Sweden. I
Portugal.
love watching Sweden. And, you know, Spain had a few injuries, but the rest of the world, Iceland has had a great showing as well. And so also we've been watching the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying as well. So we have the US-Canada game tonight, the final. Both teams are already going through, but, you know, US is sitting at #1 in the world right now, but it is going to be amazing next year watching this World Cup, because just watching how much these teams have grown and the style of play, tactically, technically, everything, it's beautiful. I'm sorry, it's beautiful. It is so fun. I get so excited to watch it. So I don't know, right now Sweden is my favorite team to watch. I don't know about you guys.
every team in the entire world over Canada.
Okay, besides Canada. Canada will always be #1. But tonight will be a great showdown, 7 p.m. Pacific time, if you guys all want to tune into the final. So it's always a good game between these two. So, and I know we have some questions about that. The X factor for the U.S. women's national team tonight. I have to say this, because I've really been enjoying watching Sophia Smith play. She is incredible. And Mal Pugh, she has really stepped it up. So yeah, there we go. That's all I got to say.
Okay, I'm gonna make mine short and sweet, but it's obviously ESPYs week in LA, and NWSL Player of the Year is one of the awards, but unfortunately they didn't invite any of the nominees for that award to the event, and it's just kind of disappointing. You know, we see everything that our club here in LA, Angel City, is doing, and it's really promising and exciting, and we just hope that, you know, and organizations like ESPN can step up and do a little bit more to promote the game and to promote women's sports. I know that's not the only category where nominees weren't invited as far as female athletes go. So we just want a little bit more out of them, okay? Just a little.
It's not too much to ask.
Not too much.
No. All right. So mine is going to be about the fact that the NWSL commissioner came out and said that they were going to consider reproductive rights whenever it comes to establishing future franchise teams. And what that basically means is they don't want to put their players, their employees, their coaches, their staff in states where maybe reproductive rights might be in question. And I have to tip my hat to them for them saying, you know, like, we don't want to put people at risk. As someone who's in healthcare and who has been a part of procedures that have saved lives, to say that they might not have access to that wherever they're living as far as that state, you know, I think it's just super sad. And I applaud them for stepping up and saying, you know what, if we're gonna put a franchise somewhere, we wanna put it somewhere where it's safe for everybody who's gonna live there and is gonna work there. And I love that, because there's a lot of money out there to be had, you know, whenever you're having a franchise, and I'm sure the NWSL has never wanted to turn that away, but when they're placing the players' well-being and their staff's well-being above monetary value, then it just really goes to show that, you know, they do really care about who is being a part of their organization at the end of the day, or at least this is one step in that direction. And they're also going to look at current franchises as well. So there are a few out there that have already jumped on the taking away reproductive rights train, like Texas and Florida and possibly Kentucky. So I'm curious to see where this is going to go, if those are going to continue on, and what their thoughts are going to be on it. So this was a report that just came out, so there's a lot to be said and a lot to continue with this conversation.
Yeah, I love that. So my stoppage time is about the Board of Governors for the NWSL have kind of spoke about and confirmed a couple of improvements or changes coming soon to the NWSL. One of them was that the headquarters were going to move to New York, which is great. But the two that really stuck out to me was that the video assistant referee is going to be coming in 2023, as well as investment to improve broadcast, including improving the cameras. So when it comes to video assistant referee, like, one of the reasons why some competitions don't have it is because it costs a lot of money, you know, in order to get the technology and also have an additional referee, additional, you know, angles and things like that. It costs money. And so the NWSL investing in video assistant referee is not only kind of like a good sign of the willingness to invest in the women, but also to invest in the product, because all the other leagues, they're using VAR, and it just makes the game better. If the MLS has it, I feel like the NWSL should have it, because both games are really important. And investment in the improvement of the broadcast, like if you guys have watched the NWSL games, it's like, why is this so grainy? Why is this SD? Like, why am I not getting HD like every other sports? Like the visibility, like the improvement of the quality of the product is only gonna make things better. And that's all, the women deserve that. These are professional women's soccer players. Like we should be able to watch them in HD like everything else. So the commitment to investment, I think, is really important, and so it's only going to make a better product, which is good for them because they're going to make more money. So it's a win-win for everybody. But yeah, I thought that those improvements are well overdue, and I'm glad that they're finally going to come, because now I'll be able to hopefully get some better referees in there as well. Like,
I don't know about all that.
This is a good step in the right direction, and so yeah, I'm happy about it.
Yeah, those are great points. I think every show that we've done, we usually have something we need to say about, replays and VAR and refs and everything. So it'd be nice to not have to have these conversations and just talk about the quality football that is being put out on the pitch instead. All right. Well, a reminder that all 110 football shows are available in audio-only formats wherever you get your podcasts. Just search 110 Football and you'll find Angels Wear Boots and LAFC 360. Now on Wednesday, we have a very special live event here at XRM Studios. Adidas and 110 Football together will celebrate the release of the new World Cup Mexico kit, as well as Adidas's new boot pack. Vince and former Mexico international Mariano Trujillo will host, and I'll be taking you around the event from the fans' perspective. It will be a lot of fun, so join us here on the 110 Football YouTube channel at 7 p.m. And on Saturday, Vince and JR will be with you for another LAFC watch party. This time they'll be at Tacos Way in Canoga Park at 5:25 p.m. on LAFC and 110's YouTube channels. Now, I know this is time when we like to kind of wrap things up and conclude and say bye to everyone, but it wouldn't be the same if we didn't have a very, very special goodbye that we were going to do, and from a very, very special guest. So let's see what we got out there.
Jess, I'm so sorry I couldn't be there to host with you one last time. I want to give you the biggest hug and send you off well. I think it's so cool how we met on social media years ago, but now I get to call you a friend and a co-host. I'm wishing you all the best in London. You're going to do bigger and better, and I can't wait to root you on. So cheers to you. I don't have much left though, because I already drank it.
So cute.
Don't cry.
Don't
We're
cry. I'm
gonna
gonna
miss
cry.
you it has been such an honor to work alongside you. You're amazing.
You've
I'm
taught me
excited.
so much. Like, you don't even look. I'm getting all emotional here. You've taught me so much. I love listening to you talk the women's game, and of course Arsenal. That's another one. But you're just so good. You're so well spoken, and it just. I'm just gonna miss you, and I don't usually cry. So anyways, virtual hug for you from all of us, and I'm sure everyone out there as well. I hope that we still get to see you in some way virtually on this show, because we love you so much. Oh,
We love you.
we're gonna add
Can I give a hug?
We're gonna add this face to the cake.
Oh.
Can we give you a hug?
Are we allowed to
Are
get
we
up
allowed
and
to
give hugs?
hug?
Like, oh my gosh.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Oh,
Love you.
y'all.
Oh no.
I really appreciate it.
I broke
Thanks. Love you
something.
so much.
all right,
Crazy
guys.
girl.
Thank you again for watching Angels Wear Boots. We will see you again next week. And yeah, hope you enjoyed our show today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You guys.
Bye. We love you, Jen.
Thanks,
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Follow 110 Football and subscribe to this channel.